Welcome back to the channel. This is the Casuals. I'm Jin.
And I'm Saki.
Today's episode is, well, just kind of a free talk episode, right? The title will come in soon. You'll see. Um, but yeah, today's just a free kind of talk story. We're not gonna do power wash with this time. We're just kind of vibing. Um, and the reason why this episode came up today was because, well, you and I just kind of came back from an arcade session.
We sure did, and it was long overdue, I would say.
Indeed, indeed. And man, it was kind of wild. I guess we could start off with the story. Let's just talk about this one where you had particularly you had a really good streak going on.
Yeah, I think I used all my luck for the year though, so
Better watch out.
yeah. Watch, next thing you know, I'm just gonna be walking and then the floor is gonna fall beneath me.
Yep.
So anyways, I guess we could start with today's story, which
Mhm.
is kind of why we did this whole thing for today. So we went to a Japanese arcade by the name of Round One. Very fun. There's only a couple in our area, so we just went to the closest one. And we both had the expectations of maybe, playing a little bit, but not really winning, just, having fun.
Mhm.
And so we walked around and I was like, oh, there's something that's kind of cute I want. And so we were playing for it, and, it takes a couple of tries in the beginning. And then we got the first one and I was like, oh, that was cool. I got it in quicker than I thought. And I was like, yeah, let's just walk around and see if we want anything else. And I was like, and we were both like, okay. Started walking. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool looking. Let's see if we could get it.
Mhm.
Yeah, we ended up getting it, like, first try. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. By the way, these machines have a payout, which
Mhm.
means it'll let you win the prize after a certain amount of games were played. And I was like, oh, I got it kind of first try. That's surprising with these machines. And I was like, cool. I mean, I'm not complaining, but. And I was like, let's move on. And then we kept going. And we kept going. We were there for like hour and a half.
About an hour and a half, yeah.
Yeah, we expected to come out with like one little thing, like, hey, that was fun. We walked out with 11 different things. And I spent 44 bucks. And 11 things is a lot for 44 bucks, considering these prizes, if you buy in a store, like $20 plus.
Yeah.
And the fact we came out with 11, that's a lot.
It is a lot, especially yeah. You're basically averaging out for $4 per thing.
Yeah, and I didn't even use all of the credit. I still
Yeah.
had like 80 credits or something.
Yeah, and I think the ratio would have been way more impressive if we didn't go for that figure, because that one took a lot of tries. Everything else was literally within like max 3 tries.
The figure only took 3.
Was it 3 or I thought it was 5-ish?
No, the one that we won.
Yeah, the one where it was pushing with the little small cube.
That wasn't the figure. That was the pufferfish.
Hmm. No, I
Your
could have sworn the figure took a lot of more tries because there was
your
like 2 times where you missed, or one time you missed, and then it was like oh, and then we had to like go little by little.
the one where we pushed the cube off the platform was the pufferfish, and the figure was the one where it was like the little circle you had to fit directly in the.
Right. Sorry. I was thinking of something else. Um, yeah, it was the pufferfish, huh?
Yeah, that one
Oh,
took a while.
sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I mixed it up. Maybe we're so used to the I'm so used to the figures usually being that one because that's where a lot of the figures are.
Yeah, the figures are kind of in the skill section, not the payout section.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 44 maybe not 44 bucks, so maybe like 38, 36 bucks with
Yeah.
11 items. Not a bad haul for today. Also, I do want to have a little side story on this one.
Mhm.
One of them was, I think, 9 credits, which is like $2 and like 25 cents.
Mhm.
We got a double out of that. One
That
play
one.
got two prizes, and we looked at each other like, okay, sure.
It was in one try too.
Yeah, one try, two prizes. We're like, I looked at you like, I don't think this is gonna work, and it worked well apparently.
It worked too well. Because that was my initial thought too. I was like, oh, this one's definitely like the other one's definitely gonna block it from prevent it from actually like going further. But no, it just came along.
Yeah, I guess we just had a good streak of luck.
Yeah, up to the end too.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
It was a good run. Yeah, definitely one of the best runs we've had in a while.
Oh, definitely, most definitely.
So, you know, I guess a little bit of backstory for that one. Fun little story. Um, I guess first, I kind of want to talk about like our experiences with arcade, right? Here in the United States, arcades were kind of rare. Um, and what I mean by, you know, rare is that like standalone arcades were definitely very rare. Um, a lot of the times, places would have the arcade machines alongside with like just other entertainment stuff. Um, and so having an arcade like store itself was very rare. I think I only ever been to one, and I don't remember what the name was at all. Have you ever been to a standalone arcade, like pure arcade?
I have.
Oh.
Back when I was a kid, though, like we're talking like grammar school, elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was actually next to I don't remember. I don't. I think it changed actually the store, but it was pretty close to where we used to live.
Mm.
It was called Nickel Nickel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 3 miles from our house, and it was the games were literally a nickel. That's why it's called Nickel Nickel. So you pop a nickel in and you can play a game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know of like one location still, and it's more like dollar at this point. Because they're like, oh, you want to play one game? It's like 6 nickels. And I'm like, it used to be one. What happened? What? 20, not 20, maybe like 10 plus years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was cheaper. So, yeah, Nickel Nickel was one of the very few standalone like arcades
Mm-hmm.
that existed.
Yeah, definitely. I think in well, I think where most people experience like the arcade experience was definitely in like, I guess, entertainment houses, right? Like Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese is probably the most common one where people experience like the arcades machines there, right?
Yeah, that's right. Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, and I believe Chuck E. Cheese was straight up the most common one because that's literally what it was. I think Chuck E. Cheese's name was Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Yeah, I think so. You're right.
Yeah, the mouse, whatever. But yeah, he's like the one who that was most common for me when we went to Chuck E. Cheese. We played a lot of arcade games. I remember playing a lot of DDR.
Really? I didn't know they would have that in a Chuck E. Cheese. I
They
think that'd
did,
be
they
like
did. They
I
had
thought it'd be too complex for small children.
nah, they had it there. People were popping off all the time there. Um, and I think the next closest ones were not even like actual entertainment. They were like literal like just random locations, right? Like laundromats. Sometimes they would have like two arcade cabinets.
Yeah, that's right. They'd have like this small like section in the corner for the kid, like when the mom or dads would go do laundry and they bring their kids along.
I remember playing a lot of Metal Slug 2.
I always found ones with Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man.
I think it was always Metal Slug and Pac-Man. Those were like the two most common ones because I only went to one laundromat. Kind of where you lived back in the day.
I think we went there once.
Yeah, maybe I think so.
I remember going there one time with you and your mom.
Yeah, and so that was there was like the arcades there, but that went away eventually. Because there's no reason for them to keep really archaic machines at that point. Other places would have been like IHOP, with their claw machines.
Oh yeah, IHOP, Denny's.
Denny's, yeah.
Denny's always had one. I remember Red Robins used to have them.
Hmm. I think. What's it called? Three. There was a time where it was an IHOP claw machine, and I got like three like toys in a row, like straight up one by one by one.
I've done that too, because those are more just for fun. Like they're not there to take your money really from it.
Yeah.
That's what the food's for.
Mhm.
But yeah, I remember a couple restaurants, and you'd put $1 in or however much it was at the time, and see if you could win something. I remember I won a prize, but it was too large to fit in the chute,
Mhm.
the prize chute, so I had to spend an extra dollar to push it down because it just sat on top and it got stuck and you couldn't reach it.
Mhm.
So I was like, Dad, I need another dollar. It got stuck. I have to push it down with the claw. So I
Oof.
ended up getting it, but I had to spend, an extra play to get it. But
Yeah. Oh, and I remember playing them at the movie theaters too.
oh yeah, I think they still have them at movie theaters.
I think it's more common for like the really difficult ones, like the one that block stacking games. Like those are more common, I think.
Oh yeah, but that and Keymaster.
Yeah. I do not like those, dude. Those are basically impossible. They're rigged.
Well, yeah, it's a huge payout because they put, decent prizes in those,
Yeah, like game consoles or phones.
or just money,
Yeah.
straight up money.
Yeah, so that's like, the most common one. And then I guess, the last true arcade that used to exist, I don't know if it exists anymore, was, what was it? John's Incredible Pizza?
That was kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing.
True. Or
It's like
no, I think the more accurate one is like a PC cafe type deal.
well, I think of True Arcade like not even selling food or drink, like
Yeah. So I guess John's Incredible Pizza would be more like closer to like, yeah, Chuck E. Cheese or, yeah.
because even John's Incredible Pizza, like it's like a big area, and they even have like rides.
Right.
They have like carnival rides, and they do food and all that. So it's kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese, just for older kids, I guess.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember that. But yeah, I guess that kind of leads into. Well, I never, and for John's Incredible Pizza, I actually never went into the play area. I went into the, what's it called? The where all the consoles were, the PC and the consoles.
I don't know if John's Incredible had that
Oh,
because
you know what? It's not called John's Incredible Pizza. It's something else. I just realized.
like, John's Incredible Pizza is like literal like older kid Chuck E. Cheese. They would not have PC console games.
Yeah. I'm forgetting the name. It's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. It started with maybe an F. It was in that area though.
Howie's Game Shack?
Yes, Howie's Game Shack. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's more PC console, just gaming center area.
Yeah. It was Howie's Game Shack. Yeah, I remember. Okay, so it was Howie's. Sorry, Howie's. Um, John's Incredible Pizza, I did go there once. I remember now. But Howie's Pizza is where I really went a lot. Like I think I went there like 4 times alone.
Howie's Game Shack was popular with you, huh?
Yeah, because it had the consoles and PCs.
True. I think I only went once.
Yeah, that was more like a PC cafe type thing. It's not really even an arcade at all.
No, there are no arcade machines. It was the closest thing you could get to an arcade machine was like the soda vending machine.
Makes you play a guessing game of what you're gonna get.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, you could probably just be like, I'm gonna push this button and see what it gives me without looking.
Yeah. Oh man. And so I guess I this isn't really, again, Howie's Game Shack is not an arcade, but I do have a funny story related to that. Would you like to hear?
Of course, any funny stories about games would be That'd be good.
It's a very short one, but Howie's Game Shack. I will title this story called Two Hot Chicks.
I think I remember you telling me this already,
Yes,
actually.
I told you this, but I never really told this in a video. So, Howie's Game Shack, junior high kid, right? I'm a junior high kid. Um, and a bunch of us junior highs are, going to Howie's Game Shack and we're all hanging out. It's a Saturday and we're playing games. And we all decided to play console, right? We're all sitting across with the consoles and then we have all the, controllers in front of the TVs and we're playing. And the game we decided to play is Call of Duty Black Ops. And we play local LAN, right? Local LAN matching because there's quite a bit of people. And there's basically it's only us playing, right? Me and a group of friends. I think there was like maybe 6 or 7 people in total, including me. We're all playing, and suddenly, there's these. So we're junior high again, and we're playing, and I'm minding my own business. And suddenly, I see there's 2 people sitting literally beside me, right? One on each side, one on the right and left. I'm like, who are they, right? I look, and it's 2 girls. At that time, I was like, whoa, girls, right? And they were high schoolers, I believe. If I'm correct, they were high school, females attending high school. And you know how it is, you're a pubescent, boy, junior high. You're just getting interested in girls. And there's like, back then when your view is limited, you're like, wow, female. I don't know how to act, female good. You know what I mean?
Yep. You kind of just forget how to speak, and
Yeah.
your brain goes mush. You're just like female, like red alert female.
Red alert female. And so they're so like I thought they were gonna play something else. No, they decided to play Call of Duty. And so I was like, oh, okay, like the same game as us. And they matchmake into us, right? They're like, hey, can we join? Like, sure, right? Everyone's like, sure, play, right? And remind you, these are 2 high school girls with a pubescent junior high boy in the middle of between both of them, right? And so we get into matchmaking, and and all that. And I did what any other, reasonable pubescent junior high boy would do in that situation. I fucking destroyed them in that game. I gave them no mercy. And it's not like I was trying to show off. I was just like, I'm competitive as fuck. You're on the enemy team, you're dead to me.
Sounds about right.
And every time, dude, she kind of okay. I don't think she was flirting or anything, but she was, it was like, kind of like, stop. You're like, oh my, I'm dead. You know what I'm talking about? You know that kind of like talk?
Yeah.
And it's not like, okay, they weren't directed to me. I could tell now. But I was so zoned in. I'm like, I gotta get the highest kills. I want to beat everyone, right? And it wasn't even me trying to impress. It's just like, these 2 are just another soldier, another casualty,
They're just gonna walk in my line of fire.
Yep, essentially. So yeah, that was, that's a very short story. Like, we had fun, I didn't think much of it, to be honest. Like, at that time, I wasn't even really interested in girls, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so, pretty normal. I didn't really act weird or anything. I just acted like the way I did. It's just very competitive. And so, yeah, that is my very, very short story of 2 hot chicks. And then I guess I have one more funny story. It's with Chuck E. Cheese, I think. And I'm gonna title this one too. I'm just gonna call it The Screaming Man of the Darkness.
Oh, okay, I'm interested.
So it's Chuck E. Cheese, and Chuck E. Cheese is Chuck E. Cheese. There's a lot of arcade machines, whatever, yeah, in DDR and such. But I always noticed in Chuck E. Cheese that there was a laser tag area, because I think some Chuck E. Cheeses did have laser tag in them, right?
I think so. Not the ones near us, though.
Yeah, it was like somewhere else though. And I remember I was like, oh, laser tag, that looks fun, right? But here's the thing with laser tag. If I am correct, there is usually an age restriction and I think like some sort of other restriction. There's a money entry restriction, right? Because you need to pay additional money to do laser tag.
Right.
And I didn't match any of them. But I'm interested in laser tag. I want to see what it's like. I want to be there. I want to try. So what I do is we're in a group, like, how a lot of families get together and go to Chuck E. Cheese so their kids can play and so the families can just talk and eat.
Yep.
So all the kids are playing. I'm like, all right, this is my opportunity to go to check out that laser tag I've been meaning to check out so long. It's like a cool ass like big door, galaxy color. You know the galaxy like pattern, darkness.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I gotta go in there. And so I go towards it. I look around, no employees. I'm like, cool, no employees. We're good. Go inside. I get closer and closer. I keep looking around like there's no employees still. Cool. No Chuck E. Cheese employees looking at me. No one's being like, hey, don't go there. And mind you, I'm like still like a elementary school kid at that time. So I'm young. And I get closer and closer. No one calls me out. I'm like, all right, I finally could go in. I open the door and go in. And immediately I get met with an employee, right? And all I hear is, kids are not supposed to be here! And I immediately ran for my life because I was I didn't expect someone to scream like, kids are not supposed to be here. At a little child, right? So I just ran away and like I didn't cry or anything. I just ran away. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, it's like the scary like monster that appears in the closet or something like that. And now that I think back about it, the employee was probably actually screaming not because he was like angry or anything. It's because it was really loud.
Yeah, usually have really loud music in those areas.
So he was probably just yelling, like, hey, don't be here. You're not supposed to be here. But for me, I'm a little kid, Anything is scary when you're a little kid.
Yep.
And so yeah, and I didn't see him. I don't think I even see him. I maybe have seen like a silhouette, but that's about it. And so yeah, that was another very short story of the screaming man in the darkness.
I don't think I've ever heard that one, so that was interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty old memory too.
I guess I have a pretty old memory about laser tag.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this is supposed to be about arcades, but
Mm-hmm.
so do you remember a place called Camelot?
Yes, I do believe so, yeah.
It was like arcade, mini golf, and laser tag.
Yeah.
So one of my elementary school friends had a birthday party there. And we decided to play one game of laser tag.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to be high score, I want to have the most points. So what I did was I basically held one of my friends hostage. And I basically just kept him in a corner, kept shooting the little like plates where you shoot the laser.
Oh no.
And he was just like sitting there. And we were both just kind of just sitting in the corner. I was just shooting him and he was trying to shoot people running by.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget how many points you get. Let's just say you get like 1 point per shot just for the sake of the video.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, it was basically like 200 and then the next highest score was like 15. And they're like, wow, this is a great high score. Like, who? And I'm like, oh, that's me. And they're like, how'd you do that? I'm like, oh, I was just shooting the little targets. Didn't tell him I put someone hostage in a corner.
Your friend was probably silent and he was about to say something and you just look at me like, don't.
No, he was just like, because he didn't even want to play, but he was just like forced to go because they're, birthday party. You're like, hey, go play with the birthday boy laser tag or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he was more interested in the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
But they paid for him to play, so he was just like, oh, fine, I'll play. And I'm like, I was basically like putting my vest on, and I'm like, hey, just go in this corner and let me just shoot you.
Of course.
And that's how I became the greatest laser tag player ever.
By legitimate means.
Yeah, I didn't force him to. I just said, hey, can you do this?
And he agreed.
Yeah, he's like, sure, fine.
You could have done that classic, hold the whatever the gun one-handed, just put your finger in the trigger and just start going rapidly.
Yeah, I basically was just like pointing it at his target like the whole time, just clicking over and over.
Oh man, that's a good story. Man, yeah, arcades, dude. I wish I could have experienced the actual arcade, the fighting game arcades. The times when I don't think it happened in the United States, but definitely in like Asia, they were more common where like people would get together and like play in the arcade cabinets and fight each other in fighting games.
Oh yeah.
I kind of wish I could have experienced that.
See, I'm not a huge fighting game person. I'm more of a claw machine person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess I have one other quick story about round one.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like basically this one could be called Senior Citizen. So basically, I've been going around one for quite some time, maybe almost a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
And they've changed their system of how they do like point, give you credits and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, if you bought a club member card, you could get, benefits like discounts later on with how
Yeah.
much you spend. So you had to spend like $500 total to get what's called a platinum card,
Mm-hmm.
which basically when you pay like $20 worth of credits, you would get like a buck 75 or $2 off. So it was like $18, but you get $20 worth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still have that card. They don't use that system anymore. But I was like, hey, I remember I went up one time a couple years ago. I think once COVID ended, like, so what was that, like 21 maybe?
Yeah,
End of
I guess when
20.
people started allowing things to go back again.
Yeah. So I went and then I was like, hey, can I still use this card? And they looked at me and they're like, dude, we haven't used that card in years. And I was like, oh, really? Like, there's a whole new system they set up. And I was like, man, I feel old now. Because he's like, because they're like, yeah, we haven't used that card for like 8 years. And I'm like, oh, 8 years? Oh, God. How long have I been coming here?
Senior citizen indeed.
And I was like, do I still get a discount? Like, a senior citizen discount? Like,
Do I
they just started,
qualify?
they literally just started laughing. They're like, no discount, but it's cool that you still have that card.
I wish,
But they
man.
don't, they don't give them out anymore.
Yeah, I guess it's a relic to keep, huh?
Yep. And so when I had to upgrade to a new card, I was like, no, I'll just buy a new card. Because they would have given me a free one
Mm-hmm.
if I gave them my platinum card.
Mm.
I'm like, no, I'll just buy a new one. I'll keep the platinum card.
Good choice, good choice.
And so you could say I spent a lot of money because I have a platinum card.
I mean, it only just shows you how much you love, the arcade and the claw machines.
Yeah, it's getting out of hand now, but
One day you'll be buried with all your plushies that you won from the claw machines.
yeah.
One day.
Even my girlfriend was like, if we get an apartment, we need a separate room just for the plushies. I'm like, yeah, kind of do.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man. But yeah, this was, kind of our arcade stories. Not really, but arcade. um, so yeah, a lot of memories, and I hope arcades continue still being a thing, although it's becoming increasingly rare. To even find one, that is within the vicinity close by. But yeah, you have any closing comments you want to make about arcades?
I have plenty more stories. We just scratched the surface.
Definitely. But that's all the time we have for today, so I'll be ending the episode. So I'm Jin.
And I'm Saki.
And this is The Casuals, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.